Hello, I'm Ronnie Eldridge. Welcome to Eldridge and Company. The guest I had originally scheduled for today had to cancel at the last minute. As I looked around anxiously, I saw my husband moaning that he had just broken another computer keyboard with his construction worker typing. I told him to put on a tie and come with me. Hello.
Hello, my name is Jimmy Breslin, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I always assume that people know, and that's not right. I know that. All right, don't yell at me about it. So you've stopped writing a column 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Have you stopped being so opinionated? Let's tell the public.
Well, I'm not a cabbage. I have opinions.
Yeah.
But they're not opinions. They're solid fact in this case.
Does it become more frustrating when you haven't got an outlet for them?
No, none whatsoever, because I just know what's going to happen. For example, there is going to be no Jets Stadium on the west side. That's dead already. There will be no Olympics in New York City.
Well, don't say that. You don't know that. They may find a way to have Olympics if they don't have the stadium.
The Olympics is not going to New York City.
Who told you that?
Tap out on that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
What else? Are we going to have peace in the world?
No, I know that I'm offended personally by this doctor-o running around the country, the world.
That's not his name. That's the writer.
No, Dr. Off.
Right.
For $1, we pay him $1. Well, as usual, you get exactly what you pay for.
We pay him $1
I can't stand him. I don't want
of a terrible, I think, thing that happens in government when somebody rich comes into the government, and you know we have that cross envy theory that when people in the government they want so much to be in what they call the private sector and succeed. So when somebody who's a successful business person comes to them, they're really bamboozled by the dazzle from being in the private sector. But conversely, people in the private sector who've made a lot of money think that the ultimate power is in the government. So
let me be the
but
first.
I don't. That happens a lot of times. They didn't start the $1 a year.
Let me be the first to tell him he's a colossal flop and he should get out.
Okay.
Number 2, that Bloomberg, apparently with Dr. Off guiding him, made one of the worst political mistakes you want to see, which shows he really doesn't know anything about life. To say he's going to build this stadium over the rail yards with first you build this, then you build that, then you build another thing. Come on, you're not going to do it. And then to tie it to the Olympics, to say you can't have the Olympics in which we have the stadium, well, you're not going to get it. Number 2, there's enough lawsuits in already today, this morning, as we're sitting here, to keep the Jet Stadium tied up for the next 20 years. You're not going to have it. And Bloomberg is going to walk around, there'll be no Olympics. He won't know what he's doing. Now, just one last piece of it. Where is the district attorney in Manhattan or the state attorney general? Who is he running? The saint, what's his name?
Spitzer.
He won't touch anybody in political life. There's over $14 million in lobbying fees have been paid trying to get this Jets Stadium straightened out. Where's the money going? The lobbyists kept it. There's a young woman, Pat Lynch, that works for Silver.
She used to work for Silver.
Yeah. She got $1 million a year lobbying. A lot of it was coming from this Jet Stadium. She kept $1 million? I don't believe her. Let's put it in a grand jury and find out. Other people were getting hundreds of thousands of dollars from Bruno and from Silver. They were working in those organizations. Well, I don't believe them, and I don't trust anybody involved. And don't tell me it's a nice thing, you can do it. We've always done business this way. I don't believe it. Put it in a grand jury and see what they say.
When I asked you to come here today, I thought maybe since you're not writing columns,
we could get indictments.
We might have a nice conversation. Because when you watch the show at home, you always tell me that the guest talks too much and I don't talk enough.
But I'm not
and
a
you're
guest.
always, well, now you're a guest.
I was impressed.
And you're not giving me a chance to discuss anything.
The War of 1812,
no,
you
let's
put
have
me on the ship here.
We want to have a conversation.
Yeah, all right.
Ask me some questions and I'll answer them.
Oh, I don't do that. I never ask a question in my life. I just listen. And then if nobody talks, I talk myself.
So that's your technique for writing when you're interviewing people?
I was in newspapers for a half a century, and I almost never asked a question.
You stood there with a pad?
Yep,
And
because when you...
And you don't mind pauses, I know that. I mean, I'm not, and people who talk to you on the phone always comment on that, that you could let a pause go for what seems like an eternity, waiting for the person to say something, and then they have to fill the space, right? So are you aware? I mean, that's a conscious thing that you do?
Dave Pressman did it for 70 years in this city.
What did he do?
Maybe 80 years. He's been around so long. He held the microphone after the guy was through talking. He still held it without saying a word in the guy's face. And he wouldn't know what to do, and finally he'd blurt something out and keep talking. He used to do, Wagner was the easiest one for him, was the mayor of New York. Gabe would get him, and he'd look to go, and then he'd just collapse and say anything. It's a good move. Don't talk.
Now, you told me you weren't going to do that.
All right, I did. Don't talk, ever.
There was a joke, about a man who was having an affair, and the wife found, and the wife knew, but she also was having, no, she didn't know. She didn't know. But she decided she wanted to get out of the marriage. He was on a trip. He comes home. She says, we have to talk. He says, you found out.
Yeah.
So the divorce was on him. So that's the big thing. I always think about that. You jump in to fill in the space, and then you're in trouble immediately. So ask me a question.
No, I just sit and listen, keep talking.
We're both home now a lot together. What are you doing? You're writing a play? You're writing a book?
I wrote a play.
You're writing a column?
Book, and I had to do
an article.
I had to do an article. I have to do several. So
you love to write about gangsters. What is that about gangsters that makes you so happy?
Well, they're gone. You better
Certain kind of gangster.
You better enjoy them now while you've got the time they're on.
I mean, you're not talking about mean.
They're all.
What do you? How do you differentiate the kind of gangsters you like?
I tell you what.
Answer the question.
Yes.
How do you pick a gangster you like?
Oh,
they have funny
Tony
names.
Salerno. No, Fat Tony Salerno was the Tip O'Neill of the underworld. I don't know anybody who wasn't charmed by him. He was terrific. Let's see, who else was there? Most of them. Go to the trial here in New York if that Ebbers, World Cup, yeah, that robbed the workers of their pensions, robbed women and children, and thought he was allowed to do it. He's sitting up there in the witness stand. Go there, and then go to Brooklyn and have a cup of coffee with somebody who's in the mob. They would see the difference. One is a human being quite flawed, no question, belongs in prison probably, and will get there. The other guy should be hurled out the window. I mean, he has no right to survive. Bad people. Legitimate people are terrible. I can't handle it.
You mean legitimate people who do bad things?
No, just the average
Generally legitimate people.
Is tough on me.
So what are some of the names of some of your favorite gangsters?
They're all in jail.
I know, but what are their names? They don't lose their names.
They're all gone. The last one, the man that ends the organized crime in the United States for all time is Joe Massino. He's in Brooklyn now. He went on trial for 3 murders, and he was convicted. And then the government announced that they had another murder, which was a classic death penalty case, and they were going to try it. And he knows that you don't win in federal court. So if they said they're going to have a death penalty, they're going to get it. And he decided that he didn't want to die. So he's talking. Whatever's left of crime in this city, he's going to tell everything he knows. And he knows everything there is to know. Is this
before the trial or after the trial?
After.
Oh, he was convicted.
He's convicted, and now he hears they're going to hit him with a death penalty case. They're going to kill him. So he called in a prosecutor, and now he's talking.
I mean, they haven't hit him yet with the death penalty case?
He bargained out of it.
Oh, I see.
They're not going to hit him with the death penalty?
The only thing that I sort of remember about that trial was that his wife was there all the time, the first trial, right?
Yeah.
But then in one of the trials, it came out that he had a girlfriend.
Oh, at least.
But did she know that? She knew that?
I don't know how people...
But when did she turn against him? When he started to rat on other people?
Yeah, I think that was it. He's not coming home anyway, so what does it matter what you do?
But I thought she was very loyal to him at the beginning.
Yeah, she was. And she was loyal in the fact that they raised the Christmas present to the boss of the family. Always is a high number. In this case, it was $250,000. the captains of the Bonanno crime family had to raise the money to give to the boss, Joe Bonanno, for Christmas present. That's not a lot. There's others have put up $500,000 to John Gotti at Christmas time.
It's a kickback. It's the same thing that you're complaining about people who work
But
for political figures, right?
So, yeah.
But that's charming when they do it.
They're doing it on their own and at their own risk. The other political figures
They're not doing it on their own. There wouldn't be a captain in the whatever
the
it
other
is.
people, the politicians are doing it on my time and my money. Now,
Well, that's a distinction.
she gave up the 200, you bet. They gave up, also they got half personalities. They don't deserve to even be around. These guys at least could put a little electricity in the air. So there's $250,000.
The electric chair.
Well, no, it's a needle. He didn't want that needle. So they put the $250,000 was paid to when the wife has it. And then Joe turned. So now people that had put the money up said, hey, I didn't put up a Christmas present for a rat. I want my money back.
Especially it's going to rat on me.
Yeah, so they said, go. Where's the money? Well, the wife has it. Well, go ask the guy said, well, get it back for me. He said, no, you go ask the wife for the money. And the money, forget it. So that's where that one is.
So is she in danger?
No, what danger?
I don't know.
That's overrated. They haven't shot anybody in a long time. They passed a rule among themselves, no more murders, because it puts so much heat on them that they can't stand it, the few that are left.
You were involved in the Berkowitz case, which we don't like to talk about too much.
No.
But are you interested in this,
None.
in the guy
No.
out in...
I have no interest in it. I have no interest in anything to do with serial killers. They seem to love them in the movies, the Silence of the Lambs or something. If they'd been around when one was really here on the streets, they wouldn't be so quick to want to
You're
write
a big
about
movie
them.
critic, but you never go to the movies. So how do
I
you
can
arrive
tell.
at these opinions?
What? Well, the Silence of the Lambs I looked at.
Did you?
Not 5 minutes of it.
When?
Berkowitz was a dangerous bedbug who was shooting young women in the head, who followed me around a little bit. I didn't like any part of him, that he's in jail, he could stay there forever, and that's it. What'd he do? He sent me a Christmas card from the devil one year, but I'm sorry I ever got involved with him, frankly. And it wasn't my doing, he wrote me. But it's strange, if all these years, all the things I've done, good or bad, but I did them. I go to Princeton University to a friend of mine had a high school class for minority high school students.
I drove you there.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, right.
And I sit there, and here's a very lovely young woman in the first row. She says, what was Son of Sam like? I says, I'm down here to talk journalism, advancement for minorities. I had a lot of theories and ideas. They wanted to know about this bedbug. So I have to say that the guy in Wichita is particularly revolting.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in a church and a Boy Scouts and
A father. It's quite unbelievable.
I don't want to know about him. And then, of course, they will
I mean, a lot of the other serial killers, I don't really pay attention either, but the few that didn't have families. They had, Berkowitz certainly didn't have a family. The guy, Bundy, didn't have a family.
That was a bad fella.
Yeah.
Very bad.
I don't know who, what about the one out in not the Scorp, what did they call it?
There was one in Atlanta. They had so many murders they
yes.
put on him. I don't know what he did or what he didn't do.
Right, we never did figure that one out.
Well,
right.
it's a great thing for the detectives room. When you get a guy in, you go to the file and take every case you got that's outstanding that you can't prove and run out and say he did that too. No, I don't like them at all. I tell you who didn't like it. Bill Clark, who was a detective working on the Berkowitz case, didn't like him at all. Didn't even want to look at him once it was over. Get him out of here. No, I don't know anybody.
He's the one who became the executive producer of
he's the
NYPD
big
Blue.
boss, yes.
And I wonder if they ever had a serial killer on the show. I mean, as a subject,
He don't like
I don't
them.
think so.
I don't think he likes them.
Jimmy,
I know he doesn't.
when somebody says that talks about journalism, you always make a funny face and
hate it.
despair.
Yeah.
Why? What does it mean to you?
Suit and tie guy walking around with theories, with 2 college degrees and theories. You're a reporter with 2 feet. Go out and get me a story and bring it back. don't start calling it these names.
When did that start?
Journalism, when they started going to college. At one time, when everybody did. At one time, the Daily News had police inspectors' sons were the reporters. And they were terrific. All the other papers had. They weren't high class.
They didn't go and get a master's degree in journalism.
What was that?
I wonder how old the journalism school is and when that started.
I don't know.
Because I know when I went to college, and that was 50 years ago, there was a journalism school.
There was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So
that's how I lasted, I'll tell you the truth.
What?
They came out of journalism school, and they thought in terms of journalism. And I thought in terms of reporting. And it was no contest.
But you always mixed a little bit of more of reporting of a little bit of poetry or something.
Well,
right?
I could
you
write.
tell me you're a poet.
No, I could write better than most of them, yes. I'll plead guilty to that.
Is that an Irish trait that you inherited, or
yeah,
do you
you
think
go to
that is?
Yeah, you go to the core of the matter immediately. Yes, that's Irish.
Is that really?
That's a heritage. Yes, it is. No question.
Right.
You don't go, what do they got in these papers? Lead sentences of 47, 50 words in the Times or the Washington Post. Nobody's going to read that far. And then after that, forget it. When you had Steinbeck, 12 words, Hemingway, 11, Norman Mailer supposed to be so overblown and a lot of 15 or 16 words in the first sentence. That's all.
Steinbeck never worked in a newspaper, did he?
I don't know what he did.
Dickens did, right?
Dickens did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was out standing in the rain covering stories, and he got tired of standing in the rain, and he went and wrote books fairly well.
And is that what you're doing now?
I don't know. Not in that. I wish I was in that league.
No, I don't mean in the league, but I mean, did you get tired of reporting and climbing stairs and going into one housing project after another?
Yeah, because, no, it was the same, and I wasn't doing what I wanted to try to do. A play, another novel, do things. So I got up, but there's no way to do it if you're working in a newspaper, 3 columns a week, that's 6 to 7 days it takes. So you really can't fit much else.
Do you miss not writing for a newspaper?
No, not at all.
But you still read the newspapers?
I look, I don't read them like,
like you used
truth
to.
be known, I never did. I don't know anybody that does read them.
Right.
I mean, they glance
pick
at them, and you hear, it's all, guy says this, that guy's talking.
The other thing I've noticed about you is that you got very angry at this election. I mean, I think you're angry at the people.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, well, I know why. They voted for Bush.
No, but
you got bitter from this election.
There was basic reasoning reasons that they let it happen. They completely lost the idea of church and state out there, and they claimed they were moral
values.
There's more drugs in the Midwest than there ever is in New York. There's more divorces out there than there is any place else. There's more incest. There's more anything. What is it you're talking about?
Now we got serial killers. A serial killer, yeah. I mean, that's unfair, but anyway, go on.
No, it isn't.
Well, it was for me. All right,
No,
but I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, and it's just they also did it with such, the Bible, Bible quoting, psalm singing, Elmer Gantry. It was Elmer Gantry, and nobody said anything about it. And nobody attacks these religious people. We attack the cardinal around here, Monsignors. They go out the window. You call them every name in the book because they're wrong. Out there's one person criticized. What's his name there? The Family Council. They've all got their groups. Nobody criticizes them. Nobody says a word about them.
So who are you angry at?
Well, the people that's just the people that fell.
The people who voted, or the people who write, or the people who are the leaders?
You should have attacked the leaders. What is this? You don't attack them.
I mean, who should have attacked them?
The candidate, number one, and he didn't have the wherewithal upstairs to do it. The people who write, I don't say you're just supposed to take a side, but if you couldn't take a side on that and see these preachers telling people that same-sex marriage and abortion is in a league with people getting killed in Iraq, I mean, there's something the matter with you if you can't start taking after them. Such as, who are you? I'll bet you there's a Jimmy Swaggart inside every one of their suits. You know, he at least was open. He was the greatest, Jimmy Swaggart. If he
landed up in jail, didn't
so
he?
now we had these.
Was he the one who took the money?
No, they all took. Baker took the money.
Baker was the one who
Jimmy
took.
Swaggart was on the stage of one of the great performances
girlfriend,
ever.
right.
When he hookers,
No, hookers.
girlfriend. He didn't know. And by I have sinned, and then he started to cry, "Forgive me." It was marvelous. I didn't see him in this thing. It was people far worse than he is doing it with their goody, family values. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know your family value. I don't want to know it because that means I have to come in the house and observe you, and I don't want to do that. So how can you say family values?
So is there anybody you have any respect for in the political spectrum?
I think political people are absolutely, half people.
Have you always thought that?
Yeah, but the more lately.
I don't understand what that means, but that's all right. I mean, well, you were married to a political person, but I was an amateur.
No.
I mean, you are married to a person who was.
I wouldn't be married to you.
I remember meeting you when you were supporting Bobby Kennedy. You were friendly with these guys. All right. So what happened to that? Was that youthful enthusiasm?
Maybe. Mistakes that have been ironed out of my system over the time as I observe what's around me. Well, let's go local.
Stay
local.
No, I don't want to stay local. What did Robert Kennedy do that made you, he got killed? That's not, that wasn't his mistake.
No, race. He was very good on.
He was very good on a lot of things, wasn't he?
Yes. And he also was very good at trying to get Castro assassinated.
Well, he sort of admitted that, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Castro might have admitted, too, that he shot back.
Yeah. Well, that was Kennedy. That was Jack Kennedy, you think. That,
you look up
You don't think that was Saran? I don't want to...
Well, where did he come from?
I have no idea. Jordan. Let's talk a little bit about race in the city.
Yeah.
With so many people coming into the city from all over the world, do you think the race question is beginning to show that it's going to soften?
No, as long as white people are here, the race question is never going to soften. They're terrible. They haven't changed. They haven't changed ever. That's a disease. Well,
the one movie you went to see this year was Rwanda.
Yeah. Now, that was done for a reason. Now, let's get into Rwanda, Hotel Rwanda. It was done by Terry George, who comes out of a British prison camp in Northern Ireland and out of Belfast, out of the slums, where people have always regarded themselves as the same as the blacks. They're treated the same, they don't get the opportunities, and they're thrown in jail at every 20 seconds. By the British, who were the Americans here. So you come over, the whites, the Yankees, whatever you call them. So he came over here and he's labored. Now he wants to do, he had a couple of Irish movies. Now he wanted to do one about blacks, about Rwanda. A fair subject, only 800,000 people got killed while we, the United States, left.
Killed by the same race.
I don't care.
No, but isn't that the subtlety to it? Is that the Irish were being hurt by whites, British, and in Rwanda...
by blacks.
Yeah.
So he wanted to put a black movie on the screen about it, and everybody told him no, and that only made it, more of an issue with him. So he wound up, he wrote it, directed, did this, that, and had to raise money for it. So he did everything, and he put it on. Now, that movie, the inception of that movie, though, started in a prison camp in Northern Ireland, started in his blood from being in prison, and he just came over here, and he's got a smoking reason to do it. It's a marvelous step in life for him. Tremendous.
So is our policies in the Middle East and in Africa colored by race?
What? What'd you say?
Yeah.
What are we doing in Iraq? We're doing good. How many we got killed there?
And in Africa. You said that Terry George, once he was told that he would be hard to raise money, that made him raise money. Is that another Irish characteristic?
Well, he's just
Stubbornness and challenge?
Yes, he's not going to quit. Absolutely. Never. And he didn't.
All right. We're down to the last minute. Is there a question you'd like to ask me?
No, why only a minute?
I don't know. It goes very quickly. I know you can.
Yeah.
So, what are you working on?
I'm going home and work. That's all. I got 2, 3
Thank
things.
God for work. I was
Yes.
very worried when you gave up the column that you would then, or people were, I wasn't. I always knew you'd have something to do. People would say, well, he's retired. What is he doing?
Yeah.
And the answer is, you're working more than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, work is your life, isn't
Yes,
it?
absolutely. I don't know anything else to do.
And what do you consider work to be?
Work. You
We
get up
talked
and
about
work.
religion and what?
And what?
Work is,
Oh, of course. Well, that's the thing. Work is prayer.
all right.
It always has been. I don't know why anybody doesn't see that.
Thank you very much,
Good.
Jimmy, for filling in. I think we managed
Yeah.
to make the most of the half hour,
Good.
and I hope you'll come back again when the next
I'll come
guest
when
I have doesn't come.
I'll come when there's a lot of indictments for the
All right.
lobbying.
Just stop.
Why?
Goodbye.